Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. As you can see here, I've been busy in between episodes rearranging these chests, and that's simply because we were running out of storage room, so I thought this time I would organise them a little better. Now I started off by putting these item frames on the sides of the chests, and I found that it removed most of the clickable area, which is kind of annoying, so I decided to go with these signs and put those up there, and the signs leave a nice clickable area below them, so pretty happy with how that looks. You can see over here I've left them on because we've got all of this area to click on, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be expanding this again in the future. You know, I haven't finished doing all of this, as you can see over here, but we're just gathering so many materials. I'm pretty sure we're going to end up building a second storage room at some point. Anyway, let's go down here and talk about 1.6.4 because we have updated the server to it, which means we can go and save our structures now, which is great. I'm really pleased about that update. However, I was planning on building a wither farm this episode, but we had a meeting last night where we talked about when we wanted to update to 1.7, if we wanted to do it during the snapshots or when the major release comes out, and at the moment we're not sure about that. But we also talked about the nether reset again, and it looks like it's quite likely the nether will be getting reset. Now, I was planning on building the wither farm this episode because of 1.6.4, and we got a little creeper hanging around outside. Hey yo! Off he goes. Yeah, and the design that I had for the wither farm, it turns out that it's actually really laggy because I finished building it and it uses so many pistons that it just lags the game, and it's really not suitable for building on a server. So I'm not going to be doing that, and of course we might be resetting the nether, so at the moment I don't know what I'm going to do. So I had that project lined up for this episode and it didn't turn out, so I had to try and come up with another project, which is going to be the chicken farm. And what I've realised about this whole villager trading thing is the people have come here before and they've already figured everything out, because I came to this and saw that everyone was using the sugarcane trade, and I thought, well, you know what, you can fully automate this right here, as you can sugarcane as well, obviously. But I wanted to look at a different way of doing it, and I've seen now that probably other people have done the same thing and come to the conclusion that the sugarcane is the best way to go. So building a raw chicken farm would be good. You can fully automate it. However, you need thousands of chickens to make this worthwhile and provide you with lots of emeralds, because I have been trading with our blacksmith over there and you quickly run out of emeralds. It is surprising how much they eat them up. So we need a mass farm to help us do this trading. And I thought the chicken farm would be the way, but because of the amount of strain on the server, I've been doing tests with James. We've been trying to find out the most optimal way to put the chickens, into a farm so they don't cause strain. And it looks like that's going to take me quite some time to figure out, and possibly even then, it's not going to provide us with the amount of raw chicken that we would like. So it looks like we're going to go and build a sugarcane farm this episode. Now, I think I'm going to start off with a basic farm where you can just chop down all the sugarcane. As you can see, I've brought some with me. And I have 3 diamonds from my feather falling shop, by the way. Some people have been using it, so 3 diamonds. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, the sugarcane. We're going to build a farm that you walk along and chop it down. And then also I'm going to look at making an automatic farm as well. Something using pistons that automatically collects them. And we're going to just see how much of this stuff we can get, really, because I was planning on building this raw chicken farm instead of the wither farm, and now I'm really not sure to do, so I thought we'd do the sugarcane. Seems like a good idea, and then we can get on with the trading. But the point there that I want to make is, sometimes it is so difficult to do this YouTube thing. You always got to come up with new ideas, for tutorials and for stuff in your videos, things that you want to do on the server, and yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work out. You've got a few ideas written down, you go through them one by one, and before you know it, it's time to record. So that's why we're doing the sugarcane farm, something you've all seen before. But anyway, let's go and have a look at this guy right here. He is our blacksmith, and I was reading the comments on our previous video. You guys were all saying to get a blacksmith with a diamond trade first, which is what I originally had, and I got rid of him because he had that. Well, the reason that it's good to have this first is because you make a one-time payment of 4 diamonds and you will always unlock the next trade straight away. So then it's done, we've only ever paid 4. However, if we got the diamond trade later on, then we could end up trading with it several times, which would cost us a lot. So I bred a ton of villagers and I finally got this guy. Now the really cool thing with this dude is that pretty much all of the trades that I've done with him so far have just unlocked the next one straight away. Now I've got a feeling this is because there's more trades overall and it's going to get harder the further along we go. But look how many I've got so far, and most of these were just 1 or 2 trades to unlock the next one. So I think this guy is our lucky villager right here. Now I think people have been saying, when I say people, I mean people I've been watching like Doc M and Tango Tech, I think they say that the iron trade is the best one to have at the end, which obviously we don't have, so hopefully this guy has a good trade last of all. But I think whatever it is, it will be affordable because it isn't the diamond trade. So where are we going to be building this sugarcane farm? Well, I would like to build it in a permanent position because we need to build a really big one. But the thing is, we can't build it up the top here because this is the wastelands biome. I'm not really going to build too much up the top here. I do have some things planned for it. But most of what we're building is going to go underground. And I haven't even started on that yet. So I don't know where exactly the main areas of my base is going to go and the other things that I got planned. And it just makes doing something like this such a pain. But the whole reason we're doing this villager trading thing is to get those diamond tools and really help us, you know, get this done a lot quicker. And I'm starting to wonder if all the time I'd spent strip mining for diamonds would add up to the amount of time we're investing with these villagers. But in the long run, it will be good. Don't you worry about that. Now, there is a problem with this farm right here. When these baby chickens grow into adult ones, they suffocate in this block, and then the items, they don't drop down onto the half slab and get picked up by the hopper all of the time. Sometimes they fly out of the side. As you can see down there, there's a couple of these items down the ground, and I wonder if the game doesn't see the half slab as having space for the items to drop into because it's not an air block, and so sometimes those drops just fly out the side. But that is a problem we need to solve because that is pretty much the only or the most efficient way to kill the chickens that I can think of. That gives you raw chicken. Now, some people have suggested drowning. I can't seem to drown chickens in water. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. But we tried a few different methods, and it seems like suffocation is the best one to do. Anyway, I'm heading out in this direction because I'm looking for an area to build the sugarcane farm. That was unexpected. What's down here? Found a little underground cave. Let's get out of here by throwing an ender pearl. Oh, that was good. Let's jump up. Oh, look at that. I was expecting it to go into the sky and teleport us over there somewhere. So yeah, we're looking for an area outside of our wastelands biome to build this temporary farm, which is probably going to stay there because it's going to be a big farm. And so what I'm thinking of doing is using an ice stream to transport all of the items back, because I'm pretty sure we're going to be building this to a scale that's going to fill up more than just my inventory. So I don't want to be taking trips back and forth. I want to be chucking all of the items into a water stream, and this looks like a pretty good spot. It seems fairly flat. It's outside of the wastelands area, and we could just, yeah, we could easily build it here. Just have some strips of sugarcane going back and forth. Do you know what I should have done? I should have left the game running while I was doing all of that editing, because then all the sugarcane would have been grown by then. That took me a long time to put together, but I hope you enjoyed it. I do like doing time lapses, and when I was editing that one I thought actually this is a bit boring because I'm doing the same thing over and over again, but you got the insight into the building technique right there, you know, just making things nice and easy and repetitive. But you'll notice that this is in a different position than it was supposed to be. We were going to build it over there, and right as I was about to get started on building, in fact I started recording the time lapse. I'd done the little bit where I showed the beacon and the chest, and then I went, hang on a minute, this is never going to be loaded because I'm going to be over there with the villagers all the time. So I would have to come over here to load it, which means AFKing, which is exactly what I don't want to do. So we know that this is in loaded distance from the centre of that area, so I thought I'd come and build it over here. Now, of course, we want to flatten this out and turn it into a wasteland, but it's going to take me a long time to do it all, so this will be the very last bit that we actually get to. So it's going to be fine being here for a while. I do plan on expanding it. I actually ran out of materials, and I borrowed loads of the blue wool from Joe Hills. He has the community wool, so I thought I would go over there and get some more. And I'm going to have to start shearing the sheep as well, and we should also try and put some in the community chests as well. So where I've been trading, I've actually been getting loads of shears, so I thought it would be a good idea to get a load of those, maybe craft some myself as well, and go around and shear all the sheep and just see how much we get from how many shears we're using. But this is it right here. Not much to explain about this. I'm sure you all know how this works. I decided to use carpets, which is kind of new, instead of using lily pads, and there's jack-o'-lanterns under there for lighting. I can't think of what else to say really. You saw in the time lapse when I was building it, I ran into a few problems with like placing carpets on the sugarcane, so I'd have to go back and forth and replace them. Now what's interesting about that is the sugarcane's hitbox isn't the size of a full block, so as you're going across to the right like this, occasionally you're hitting the inside of the hitbox, so you're trying to place a block here when you're on that side of the hitbox. So that's why it kept stopping when I was placing it. And a similar thing for the sugarcane as well. Now I have speed on the beacon, and that actually slowed me down when building to some extent, because I'd be going too fast to place them on every single block. So every now and then I'd skip one and I'd have to go back and place it again, which I found pretty interesting. Well, kind of interesting. Just, you know, observing how the game works and figuring out what's going on. That's what I'm like. Anyway, we should go over to Joe Hills' sheep farm. This beacon, by the way, has been positioned so that when I work on this area behind me, it's kind of in range. I'm just going to leave the iron blocks here. We now have some in my base, some over there, and some here, but it's also not in the right position to cover all of the sugarcane farm, so I'm going to have to move it a few blocks in that direction, because when you get down to the end there, the speed effect goes away, and it's actually really useful for harvesting it, because it means, well, it means that you move faster, but I'm not sure if you actually pick up all of the drops. You can see I missed those ones there, and that's actually because my inventory is full. Let's chuck some stuff in the corner here. There we go, I'll pick them up in a moment, don't worry. Now if I go along and harvest some of this, let's have a look at what it's like with the speed effect. So we harvest a few bits, we're travelling in a straight line, and it looks like we pretty much got all of the drops except for that one there. So let's do it again. Now we're going to sprint, and this is a really bad example because this stuff isn't grown enough. Let's go over here and do it. There we go. Okay, I'm sprinting now. No, I'm not, because I need to eat. This isn't going very well. Right, let's try it again. So sprinting, hitting the sugarcane. I should be picking most of those up. And then let's look behind me. A while ago when I was doing this, I was sprinting with the speed effect, and it seemed like I wasn't picking enough of the drops up, but we got all of them there. It could be when they're free high. That could be the problem, because then the ones at the top are going to ping off from higher up, so you're probably not going to catch them. So there's a test that we need to do right there. We need to figure out what's going to be best, using the speed beacon or not, or should we sprint or not. But we're going to go over to Joe Hills' sheep farm first. So here we are at Joe Hills' community sheep farm. I really love the structure here. There's even a little village on the top of the roof. And also, I don't know if I've shown this before, but this is a really nice hallway, and you may not notice it at first, but there's actually a sheep above every single chest. So there are quite a few stacks of light blue wool here, which I want to replenish, and also get some more so I can finish building the farm. And I thought we'd do a little bit of a test, and then I kind of realised that it's going to be fairly obvious, because with the H3, F3 and H, you can display the durability of an item. So let's go down here and find out how much the shears have. In fact, you will do right there. So that's one durability gone. And oh my god, that has a lot more uses than I was expecting. So these 7 that I have here, these are from the trading that we've been doing with the blacksmith, and so each one of those is going to provide us with 238 uses. So I'm going to have to do some maths here and add that all up together. But what I want to find out now is what's the average drop of sheep. So have a guess, post a comment maybe what you think it's going to be, and when I'm done going through all of these, I'll count the total amount of wool that we have and we'll divide it by the amount of uses that all of these have combined, and that way we can find out the average wool drop. Listen to that noise. That is absolutely crazy. Look at all of those guys. Anyway, so I just finished rounding up all of the sheep. There were loads of them out the side here, so I was just bringing them back inside the pens, and then they weren't following my wheat, so I logged out and logged back in. Except I couldn't log back in because the login servers were down, and they've been down for absolutely ages, so that was kind of annoying. They're down at the moment as well. I managed to get logged back in, so I can't log out. That's one thing I can't do. But I noticed this guy up here. Check it out. We got a climbing pig. At first I was like, how on earth did he get up there? But after I looked for a while, I figured that he must have come from up the top there and fallen down block by block to this bit here, and he's probably going to stay there. If he's a smart pig, he'll stay there, because he'll probably die if he falls down. But anyway, we were doing some testing. We were going to see how many wool we got from all of this. So we had 7 shears, which is 1,666 uses, and for that we got 3,353 wool. That's all of this right here and the stuff in my inventory, and that equates to an average of 2 wool per sheep, which is good to know. So anyway, all of this wool right here, at first I was thinking, oh, what if I don't get enough back, you know, to pay for the amount that I took, because I took about 6 to 8 stacks of light blue wool, and I've well and truly done my part here. So I'm going to go and deposit all of this up there, and we're going to take the light blue wool for use in the sugarcane farm, and we're also going to take a couple of stacks of other coloured wool as well, because I read a comment on the previous video that you can actually trade any colour of wool with the villagers, so we definitely want to go and do a test of that. But what I'm going to do right now is return all of this to the community. So we are back, and I have expanded the sugarcane farm over here. This bit wasn't installed before, but now that's done, and I started to think about expanding this. You know, we might want to use even more than we have at the moment, so the best way to do that I thought would be to expand it in this direction. So I brought it all the way out here, and then this is where I've leveled off the ground, so I decided to stop there. And I thought that was good at first, because it means we could build the drop-off point here that's going to send the items in an item stream over to the jungle temple. I'm going to call it that now, it's just funny. Every time I look at it I think jungle temple now, and in the last episode as well, tons of comments saying that I corrected myself wrong. Well, I said jungle temple, it was a jungle temple, I was just poking fun at myself really, calling it a desert temple because I keep getting it wrong. So yeah, my thoughts were that by having it here it would be closer to the jungle temple, but then I thought, what happens if your inventory fills up and you're over at the other end? You don't want to walk all the way down here and then just walk back again. So we're going to put it over here on this side, so that if that becomes a problem I can expand it further back, and perhaps we can put several drop-off points, or maybe just another 2 or 3 along the way, and then that means wherever you are and your inventory fills up, you can just run over, click on the chest, and then put all of your sugarcane into it. So these dispensers that are going to put the items into the item stream, they're just going to be a dispenser with a comparator clock and then a hopper and a double chest above it, so you can put all your sugarcane into it, and then if there's items in the dispenser it's going to send them out. So then it's going to go down the water streams, which are going to be on ice for extra fast transportation, which technically isn't necessary, and they're going to come all the way down here. So the other side of this wall is where we have all of our chests for the villager trading, so I'm going to have to change that up, because what we want to have over here at the end of the water stream is to have some hoppers that are going to put the items into chests. Now we want these chests to be accessible in a way where we can break them, because we might have to do some mass crafting to turn all of that sugarcane into paper. So there's something that you might not know about, but if I hover over a stack of items and press 1 on my keyboard, then it does that. And if I do it in a crafting grid and press 1, it will take the items from that slot and put them over there. So this means with a crafting bench I can go 1, 2, 3, and then I can take all of those items and put them into my inventory, and then do the same thing over and over again. So by having those chests accessible, it means we can break them with the axe and then stand in all of the drops because it'll fill up our inventory, so there'll be loads of it on the ground, and then we can just craft tons and tons of paper. And then when we're done, we can put the chests back. So that's the plan for that right there. It's going to take me a while to build it. The sun is going down, so I need to find a bed to sleep into first. Well, recording this episode has not been smooth with login servers going down. I logged out while they were up last night and went onto my creative server, and then they went back down again, so I stayed on there all evening working on something that I was planning to do this episode, but I guess we'll have to wait until the next one. But I've realised that this right here is a bit slow. Let's activate it. So we've got a load of sugarcane here. I've just finished harvesting the farm, and if we activate it, you'll see it's going to send one piece of sugarcane out at a time. Now there's ways around this. We could possibly have 2 dispensers and 2 hoppers. We could have a faster clock as well. That's something I should probably put here, but it's kind of not too practical. I picture myself harvesting all of this and then going to trade. So I guess you would need a really big farm where you're going to dump a load of items in here and still have room for more, so then you would carry the rest back in your inventory. So this right here, oh, that's weird. Doesn't like that, does it? Okay, let's take all of this. It's going to be easier and quicker to transport that back manually at the moment, but then we can leave some here that's going to get sent out anyway, so I don't know. I imagine this will become more useful when the farm is bigger, is what I'm saying. So anyway, let's follow the items. You can see here the half slabs separate the water, and then the items can go underneath them. And then if we go around to here, I've put this in a different position just because I want to build something inside here that's probably going to be best located on the wall over there. So let's just fill this back up. I don't want any mobs following us inside. Put all this sugarcane in here. So we now have these 3 chests at the bottom. I've moved all of my trading chests over here, so that all of this is going to be closer to my villagers over here, the perfect ones that we trade with. And then what I want to build over here is like a selection system for the villagers. Now, I've seen other people do this. DocM has one on Minecraft, and I don't know exactly how that works, but Tango Tech has his villager trading hall. And when I saw the redstone for those, I thought there's got to be a more compact way. So I spent all of last night working with some other people on my creative server, trying to come up with something that's a lot more lightweight and compact. And we do actually have something now, so that's what I'm going to be building over here. So what it's going to do is it's going to take all of the villagers that come out of this water stream, and it's going to pick them up and put them into a little trading booth. Now when they're inside the trading booth, it's going to close off the way that the villagers come into it, so no more can go into there. There can only be one in there at a time. And then you've got a button on the front, so they're going to stand there. There's going to be a hole in front of them that will drop to their death, and then when you're done trading with them, you can press that button and they get pushed in. Now there's one thing that I'm looking to do, which is to get perfect villagers, so I might have to bridge that gap up and put a minecart in and pull one of them out occasionally and put them over here, but that's only when they're a perfect villager. So it basically means we can breed loads and loads of villagers, have them automatically put into little stalls which are going to go along this side here and that side, and then we can just walk up to them, see what trades they have, and either keep or reject them. And then when we reject them, they're going to go down into a water stream and, you know, get sent off to their death basically, because really there isn't a punishment for killing these guys. It does stop trading and breeding sometimes for 3 minutes, but they only have to be 16 blocks away from other villagers. So we're just going to have a water stream that carries them away 16 blocks and drops them into lava, and then there's no consequence. But unfortunately I don't have time to do that this episode, so what I think I'm going to do now is a little bit of paper trading if we can get ourselves a librarian. Oh, and one more thing. I did mention that I wanted to create a system where you break the chests to get tons of sugarcane and do mass crafting using the hotkeys, like I showed a moment ago. Well, what I realised with that is you get free paper for free sugarcane, and it doesn't really work if you're getting the same amount of items in return, because you're going to fill up your inventory with this, and when you finish crafting it, you're going to have the same amount of paper in your inventory. So it works for things, and you can see the sugar canes are still coming in. It works for things like iron, which is where I first saw that concept. It was discovered by JL, or someone showed it to JL, I do believe. But it works with iron because you have 9 iron ingots in your inventory, and then you convert that into a stack of iron, which is then 1 block. So it makes sense. So I've been waiting quite some time for some villagers to come up the top here. We've got 2 librarians and a priest. Let's have a look at the priest first of all. Now this guy actually has some really useful trades. I think you can get enchanted books from him, although I'm looking at the chart here and it just shows you different items that you can get an enchant on. But that could be pretty cool as well, because if you get one with a decent trade and you turn him into a perfect villager, then you could have some enchantments always available, which is really cool. But the first one here is gold. Now that could be a good thing because you want to get gold out of the way. You don't want to have that as your very last trade, but then you could end up with something like 7 to 10 emeralds for an ender eye being the final trade, which doesn't look so good. And then also you can trade with this guy glowstone as well. And that would be pretty good if it was the last trade, because glowstone for emeralds, that seems like a really good deal to me. So I think what we're going to do is actually keep this guy, and then maybe if we get into a situation where we want to trade with a priest, having that gold trade first might have actually been a really good idea. So you get to stay. Anyway, let's find out what these librarians have. There we go. Oh, and you stopped. For once, you stopped. They normally bounce off of that. And that is what they're supposed to do. And he's got the paper trade first, so let's find out what we're going to unlock here. What have you got for us? Oh, and by the way, I've finished trading all of my wool, or at least as much as I could, because I've run out of wheat with that guy, so that's why I've got plenty of emeralds. We're going to spend that on the blacksmith in a moment. So he has unlocked that trade right there. And so after this point, I don't really feel like trading much more. I think what we need to do is get one that has gold first, which could take a hell of a long time. And then when we have one with gold first, we're going to be able to hopefully get a decent trade as the very last one, and then have ourselves a perfect villager for that trade. Let's bring out the second one as well. What are you offering? No, don't push him. Let's make sure he's got somewhere to go. Oh, he's just going to come back now, isn't he? Let's change that one right there. Okay, so you've been saved. I need more paper. I wasn't prepared for this. Let's grab some from up here. And what did this guy have? I don't think we actually looked. He's got paper as well, so let's take one of them and see what his second trade is. And I think with these guys I'm just going to take the paper and then get rid of them. Oh, and that's the most we can do. And this guy over here, his second trade is books. That costs leather, doesn't it? So I'm just looking at the charts here and I'm thinking, until we get gold first, there's probably not much point trying to get a perfect villager with the librarian, so we should just take these and then get rid of them. Okay, there's a couple more guys here. I think they are butchers. And they don't want to come out, typical. Let's break this right here. Oh. There we go, out you come. And you've grouped up. And going all over the place. Well, you've gone down there. This system is terrible. We definitely need a new system, and this guy I'm probably not going to be trading with. He is a butcher. Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. So anyway, I think the last thing we should do this episode is do a little bit of trading with our blacksmith. We've got 60 emeralds. That's not really enough to do very much at all. But let's find out what we're going to unlock. How far did we get? We got to the chain boots, which is nice and cheap. So one of those. Do your particle thing. There we go. Let's trade with him again and see if we unlock something. Nope. Looks like it might take a few attempts. Ah, there we go. After 2 attempts, we've now unlocked the next one, which is also cheap, so we're going to be able to do a few of these as well. This is good. We're making some progress here. Ah, right. We unlocked another one at last. We can only make one trade with this one. This guy's been really good so far. I think the most amount of trades I've had to make is about 4, and most of them have been 1 or 2, like the chain boots were. But there you can see the iron boots. That took way too many. Let's get that diamond pick. That's nice to have that trade unlocked. And put these things in our chest. We're going to need a bigger chest. That's for sure. And we haven't unlocked the leggings yet. I'm going to have to actually do a little checklist and see what we've unlocked with this guy so far. And let's have a quick look and see if we've got anything else. Nope, we're still on the pickaxe. Well, that is going to have to be it for this episode. Unfortunately, I did not get as much done as I wanted to. What trade do you have first? You have the pick. That's what we're doing at the moment with this guy. And we've actually unlocked quite a few trades on this guy. Have a look. You can see that there's only a few more to go, and then we'll have ourselves our perfect villager. But who knows what that end trade is going to be. But next episode we will be setting up this trading booth, and then things are going to get so much easier with trading with these guys. So it's all going to happen in the next episode. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.